What is going on, guys? It has been a while since we have seen you guys for a video game review. It's been since, what, Gary, since our best games of 2020 video that we've done a video game review or just any game reviews?
I don't remember at all.
If you guys could not tell by the title of this video, so we're doing a game that's not really new, but Gary brought this up to me a couple months back, and I thought, you know what, this is a interesting game, so let's do it. So Gary, explain to the kind folks what we are talking about today.
Okay, A Plague's Tale: Innocence. Now, I discovered this game when I was roaming through the PlayStation Store, and I wanted to play something interesting, something refreshing. And I saw a game that takes place during around one of the darkest periods in literally human history, which was the plague itself, where people were getting bitten by rats. A virus was spreading, there was no cure, and almost half the entire population around, I believe, the European countries, correct me if I'm wrong, was getting infected pretty bad. And this game, not only was that surrounding that, but it was also inspired by two well-known games. It was inspired by Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons and The Last of Us.
It was The Last of Us. I totally say that about the Brothers. Have you played that game, Gary Brothers?
I've not played it, but I have heard of it, and I believe the principle for that is literally the exact same thing of what A Plague Tale is about. It's about survival.
A Plague Tale: Innocence, like Gary mentioned, this takes place during truthfully, one of the most scary times in human history, which is, as you all know, the Black Death, the plague, where rats would come in, basically, and this was due because everyone back late 1300s, we had poor health.
So Amicia, she's a young girl. The thing is that her and her brother Hugo live under a royalty name. Their mother Beatrice, is an alchemist. They are being invaded by the English army, which took place during the 100 Years' Wars as well. Hugo, he is ill, but here's the thing though. There's a reason why he's been protected for so long by their mother Beatrice. Why? It's because of this illness he has, and the goal is to take Hugo. Amicia and Hugo have to travel a long way in order to the other side to not only meet certain people, but to find a way to not only help the brothers cure, but hopefully stop the Black Plague and fight off against the English army during this crisis that they're going through. A lot of transactions do happen in this game, not just in story, but the gameplay.
I think we can both agree that this game, just put simply, it's a terrific game. Like, absolutely. I mean, this was nominated for the 2018 Game Awards Best Narrative, and there is a reason, because the story in this game, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like me, Gary, I'm obsessed with the Black Plague. I was so obsessed with that time period in history.
I wouldn't say I was obsessed with that, but in terms of the century and the years and such, in terms of like history of like medieval stuff or certain kings, queens, rulers, somewhere between like the 13 to the 1500s, time periods and historical events that happen around then. I'm interested in that, but I can't necessarily say I have an interest in the plague itself because, well, it's hard to really say I have an interest in that.
Before I continue on, guys, the gameplay there is seen here is captured on PC. Just clarification for anybody that's watching. Gary played this on the PS4. I played it primarily on PC thanks to Xbox Game Pass. But when it came to the story of this game, guys, this is a dark game in terms of tone, atmosphere, but the storytelling in this game is so goddamn perfect. It's a game that within the first chapter, there's about 15, it's like a 15-16 chapter game. This game can probably take you about, I'd say anywhere from like 8 to 10 hours to complete, I would say.
Maybe 11, depends exactly how far you get into it. But here's the thing though, I will say, the story itself, dark is a bit of an understatement, because the way how it opens and all of a sudden it just goes dark and all hell breaks loose automatically, that alone is just very terrifying. There's so many melancholy events that transpires. And especially with not only happens to certain members of the army, but happens to people that you manage to meet and the sacrifice. See, that's one thing about this game that I really admire. This game is about sacrifice.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Sacrifice, protection, loyalty, war.
Family.
Family. So many things happen in this game, and the element of surprise that you get. You're probably thinking, okay, it's going to surround that time period, but here's the thing though. When I played it, I went and I thought nothing of it. But when I got in, the story itself is so investing with so many different themes that transpire. A sense of hope. you do get that in this game as well, because you want to improve. You want things to get better.
Yeah.
You want Hugo to get better. You want Amicia to get better.
And there are times where if you think it got dark, it only gets darker from where you're at. There are times where I'm telling you guys right now, this game will kick you in the ass. Like, it'll give you a serious gut punch. Like, there is I think it's about, I can't remember which part of the game it was, but I think it was about halfway through. There was a specific part I just thought, fuck.
There's a lot of things that happen in this game that really just grabs you by the ball sack and really
Yeah.
takes you home. I really admire the cinematic feel, and plus the camera angle. It's like what God of War had. That whole entire like single view perspective.
Oh yeah, that single shot, yeah.
So to a minor extent, that's the thing I liked about this game, is that the camera view was like that single view perspective.
To add on top of that, this game, it's a beautiful looking game. I mean, for a game that came out almost 3 years ago, I believe, I mean, this holds up. Now, again, you're saying this on PC, and the PC version looks absolutely beautiful.
It's very well detailed with a lot of cinematic views, and this is one of those games where you look at it and you just gotta pay close attention to detail, and it does that really well. You want to know one thing I really admire? Okay, other than the cinematic value, I really like the very in-depth details on the characters.
Yes. You know what, especially what I really liked as well when it came to the character models? The armor in this game looked so fucking cool, especially the Inquisitor. Oh, the Inquisitor looked like a badass.
It was very, very well detailed. And again, pay attention to detail, because little things like that make a big difference to not only to your own perspective, but towards the gameplay and how you are progressing.
Now, to jump into this part, obviously, the gameplay and Plague Tale is, I mean, not just the graphics of this game do a great job of immersing you, but the gameplay. Now, this is a stealth-based game. This is really in stealth. Like, if you try and go guns-ho, well, there's no guns, but if you try and use your slingshot throughout the game, good fucking luck.
You only got to use your slingshot at the very right time. And plus, there are checkpoints throughout the game to where you can take your slingshot and upgrade it to full advantage, not just with the way it looks, but how much ammo you can hold and carry. One thing about this game that it really relies on, just like in any type of horror survival type situation, it involves crafting, and it also involves exploring your whole entire area that you're in.
Yeah, the crafting, like Gary mentioned in our review of the original Last of Us game, crafting is your best friend in this game. You're gonna want to find as many rocks as you possibly can. You're gonna want to find as many items, because the more that you upgrade your slingshot or certain abilities that Amicia collects, the better off you'll be.
The game itself, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of simple, because the controls, when you're learning the controls, they're very simplistic to learn. It's very manageable. They give you in-depth instructions on how to play it.
Yeah.
And especially your alchemies, which honestly, the alchemies that you receive, you don't get them right away. These are alchemies that you give it at certain checkpoints throughout the game. There's one that does fire, there's hallucination, there's a knockout, especially with higher progressing, because there were some puzzle areas that you needed to do in order to progress on. This game also requires patterns and timing.
Yes. It's a game where, you know, if you look at it for long, if you watch the patterns, you can probably skate on by with a couple certain sections. But again, do not overlook the stealth in this game. You really cannot overlook it, because I mean, there are definitely times where you can totally see where the pathfinders are for the enemies. Still though, this is a game where even though I thought the stealth down more than a couple of times, do not overlook it.
When the stealth comes around and you're going to take out an enemy or sneak past them, again, pay attention to detail. There's shiny things almost everywhere. Another thing that's nice about it is that the people you meet, they help you along.
Yes.
So the benefits that they provide and what they do for you, oh my god, it's just lovely.
One particular thing I need to mention is the musical score in this game.
The music for this game is just outstanding.
God, I mean, during the times you're not only having to go around certain enemies, the use of violin in the game, the use of instruments from back in the day, I mean, my god, does not only add to the atmosphere, but the overall tone. Like, there are moments where you hear the violin, it just swells up the music, but then there are times where you hear those drum beats going on in certain parts. God damn. Suspenseful is an understatement when it comes to those parts.
There's also times where the music calms down as well, and it's
Yeah.
like a very beautiful, like, some sort of calming element of music that just puts you in some sort of meditating state. So the music for this game is just, my heavens, absolutely gorgeous. Now, character-wise,
I will not lie, Hugo annoyed the piss out of me at first.
He was an annoying little fucker.
He was, but as time went on, I did grow to be attached to him.
To a minor extent, you do grow attached to him because of how the story progresses, but at the beginning, he is a pain in the ass, and honestly, that was my only flaw with the game.
No, I agree with you, because at first you were going, I was like, Hugo, what the fuck are you doing? Especially when, let me say this, Chapter 3, Gary, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll say as well that there are some sections of the game where in certain chapters, it's just a cutscene and you go to the next chapter. I really do feel like that they could have cut a chapter or two up because it's primarily either cutscenes or it's an exploration type of thing. Which again, I think they only did that once or twice throughout it. And again, the game we were mentioning is like what? Just about a 10, maybe just over 10, maybe 11 hour game. But otherwise, I really thought Plague Tale was a terrific game. It's one of those games where I don't really hear anybody talking about. It's not really an indie game, but it's a game that if you love stealth, if you love games surrounding certain historical time periods, I would say go for it. Now, Gary, in terms of our scores, what would you give A Plague Tale: Innocence?
Like I said, when I played this game, I thought nothing of it. I thought this game was just, well, at first I was, like I said, I was thinking nothing of it, but as I played it, it was just one of those games to where the story just grabs you by the balls and it just brings you in more and more and more with not only how good it gets, but the attachment you grow to characters, the very outstanding cinematic value you get, the music that is just, oh my heavens, it's great stuff. Very melancholy or very suspenseful. Gameplay is very intriguing. I love the camera cuts. And truthfully enough, this game surprised the absolute hell out of me more than it should. And Plague Tale: Innocence, I gave it a solid 9 out of 10.
I think I actually might be the same boat as you. Storyline, absolutely incredible. The narrative, while it is dark, at the very same time, there are moments of just beauty that catch you off guard. I loved Hugo at first, didn't know what the piss at me, do not get me wrong. But after a while, I did grow attached to him. I did care about him in the end. The visual style is absolutely incredible. The music is beautiful. And this game does have a great ending. And I mean a great fucking ending. Otherwise, I'm with you, Gary. 9 out of 10 for this game. I thought it was a terrific game. It's on Xbox Game Pass for free. Or you can get it on PS4 or technically PS5 backwards compatibility for like, what, $30 to $40 somewhere around there. But trust me, guys, it is worth it, especially if you want a great, dark, single-player narrative-driven game. That is going to wrap it up for Gary and I's review of A Plague Tale: Innocence. Please comment down, let us know below. What did you guys think of the game? Have you played it yet? If not, please give it a shot. I'm telling you guys right now, it is worth your time. If you want to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm also on Twitch. I know Gary isn't on Snapchat or Stardust, but you can find me on there. I hope you all enjoyed our review of A Plague Tale: Innocence. If so, please hit the like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell for the latest video from us goes live. We will be continuing our Bioshock Infinite stream, hopefully very, very soon. And then after that, we'll have a very special stream that I talked to Gary about that he's very excited about doing, which I don't want to give it away because it'll be a lot of fun. But until our next game review, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.